Tonight, as I take this final bow, I want to speak with honesty, the heart, and the intensity that built Mob Talk Radio into what it became. I launched this show, and there was no mob genre on YouTube at all. None. I invented this. I carved it out of nothing. I set the tone. I built the format. I put in the years of research, the trial coverage, the storytelling, the accuracy, the rants, the honesty. Every single blueprint that people follow now was written by me. Everybody who came after me, with only maybe two exceptions, RJ and Jake Stoops, has been a carbon copy of what I created. They've become a robotic narrator reading from a teleprompter. But I built the genre. And I didn't just build it. I made it historic. The only award-winning show in the mob genre. The only best-selling author in the genre. The only one who did the work at depth and intensity. I'm the only one that did it. But behind all of the success lies something few people will ever understand: the sacrifice. For more than a decade, I worked holidays when everyone else was with their families. I sat at my desk while others opened gifts. I spent New Year's Eve editing audio, Thanksgiving answering emails, Christmas researching cases. And on the rare days that I took time off, I felt guilty. Guilty for not giving the audience what they deserved. Guilty for not delivering on the standard that I have set. Guilty because I always put the show and all of you first. And there were nights when my own life was falling apart, when I was barely holding myself together, when my personal world was in chaos. And I still answer people's questions, responded to emails, helped listeners through their own storms, because that's who I am. Because the audience wasn't just listeners. They were people who trusted me. And here's something most don't know. Over the years, I did a lot in silence, quietly, privately, without bragging, without live streams, begging for donations, without nonstop patting myself on the back. I visited people in hospitals. I've paid bills for people who were drowning financially. I've sat on the phone for hours with listeners who lost parents, siblings, and even children, people I barely knew, but whose pain I treated like my own. I've made sure families had what they needed: food, clothes, support, without ever mentioning it publicly, until obviously today. Not once. Why? Because that's not what God calls us to do. To love one another, to understand one another, to stand with each other, not for recognition, not for praise, but because it's the right thing to do. And while I lived the truth, I watched so-called other content creators brag about the smallest good deed they did, beg for money every single day, exploit tragedies, and weaponize kindness for clout. And let me be clear, I am nothing like any of you, and I'm nothing like those who do that. They can have their clicks, they can have their ego trips, their hollow performances. Emotionally, spiritually, morally, they have already sentenced themselves. The fire and the brimstone they earn is the weight of their own character collapsing on itself. But sacrifice didn't end there. I've lost loved ones. I've lost two incredible friends to suicide, losses that shattered pieces of me that I will never get back. I lost another ex-girlfriend who died, who meant the world to me. I've been through pain, grief, heartache, devastation that most people don't even know about because I don't talk about it. And even then, I never complained. I never asked for pity. I never missed a week in a decade that either I wasn't physically beaten down or had no choice. And then came February of 2025. Most people don't know this, but I almost died. I had an issue, one I'm not going to get into, that led to another issue, and things spiraled from there. It became very touch and go. And at one point they asked me, and I'll never forget, do you want a priest? Are you Catholic? And just like my father, God rest him, when he was asked that question on his own deathbed, I laughed at what he said. And I laughed because I remembered exactly what he said. Yeah, and I also want a windowless van and candy. It was his dark humor, a jab only he could make coming from a man who was a staunch Catholic but was brutally honest about the world. And in that moment when things were very bad, when I didn't know which way the scales were going to tip. I had Angel. She was the one. She stayed with me, supported me, kept me grounded, and held space for me when I couldn't do it for myself. And what nobody knows is this. I wasn't supposed to leave the hospital when I did. Against doctor's orders, after 11 days, I signed myself out. Why? Because all I could think about was this podcast. Even then, when I should have been thinking about my own survival, my own healing, and my own future, I was worried about upsetting those of you that pay your hard-earned dollars to listen to me talk. I left because I felt responsible to the people who had supported me. Because I've always put the audience first, even when it cost me everything. And that's something that a lot of content creators will never understand. I've given this genre 10 plus years of my life. I went to trials. I reported accurately and honestly. No bias, no agenda. I did what nobody before me had the courage to do and what nobody after me has the skill to do. People said I would fail. They said I wouldn't last. They bet on my downfall. And I rose higher than every single one of them ever predicted. The naysayers were wrong then and they're wrong now. But through all the storms, through all the victories, through all the nights I sacrificed my life for this work, something beautiful happened. Listeners became supporters, supporters became friends, friends became family. People like Dean, Chris, Angel Gotti, Jason, Andrea, Andrew, Marie, and countless more. And they weren't just names. They were my anchor, my circle, my real ones. And I carry them with me long after this microphone goes silent. And then there's Angel Gotti. This show began with her and it will end with her. In a few weeks, that final chapter will close. But the truth is simple. If it wasn't for her, there might not be a Jeff Canarsie, let alone a Jeff Lohman. Then there probably wouldn't be a Mob Talk radio show at all. YouTube politics aside, gossip aside, I don't care what anybody says. Angel will always have a special place in my heart. Always. The things she and her family did for me far outweigh anything any street guy ever did. And believe me, some of those street guys did a lot for me. But Angel, she's different. She's rare. She's real. And she'll always have that piece of me that nobody else gets. And so tonight, as I step away, understand this. Mob Talk Radio wasn't just a podcast. It wasn't content. It wasn't another YouTube show. It was a movement. It was a standard. It was a decade plus of my life, my time, my sacrifices, my truth, and my heart. And nobody past, present, or future will ever, ever replicate what I've done here. They can imitate, they can mimic, they can pretend, they can recycle, but they will never be me. And they will never do what I've done. So to those who believed in me, thank you. For those who stood by me, I love you. To those who helped, to those I helped in silence, I'm grateful that you trusted me. And to those who tried to break me, you've only made my legacy louder. This is Jeff Canarsie signing off from Mob Talk Radio for the last time. I love you all.
Yes, it was my